Okay, this is what I will say about mothers for now. What we addressed just before, that the woman operates in the realm of the underworld, and that the woman is a weaver. When she's birthing a child, this is the zenith of the manifestation of her skill set. She is literally weaving, knitting. Her nature is knitting the child. But there's the biological component, but there's no such thing as biology separated from mind. They're one and the same. So the knitting of the child is based on her mind. And of course, her mind is tainted or influenced by the man's mind who penetrated her. That's why we say if she's been penetrated by multiple men, that means there will be multiple taints affecting her weaving. I think we understand each other. So we can look at it, we can have multiple analogies to say multiple things. So it's just an analogy, it's imperfect. The man will give the cotton or the wool, so it's purple. And then she begins to weave. But it's her mind weaving the child with the purple wool. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But because there's a lack of understanding of the weaving process, the underworld, and the power of woman, you just neglect this. You think, oh no, she's just pregnant, and biology is making the baby and has nothing to do with the woman, right? Because this is what our materialistic world does. No, a woman, she's pregnant, she can work till 1 week before she gives labor. Why not? What is she going to do, stay at home? God forbid, right? Again, because there's a lack of understanding of what the realm in which women operate and the power that they have, there's a lack of understanding of what they do and what they know how to do. But when I'm telling you, I'm speaking about birthing, the birthing of a child is the magnus opus of her skill set. She's always doing that, but this is like the pinnacle. This is like where it's materialized. So, what went into building that child? That's easy. Chromosomes. I'm like, that's it. That's why we can't talk with morons who believe surface reality as the end-all and be-all of life. You cannot have a conversation with people who don't understand anything, right? So it's not even worth having a conversation with them. So let's just presume this for a second, and all of us will understand this. So your mind has literally knitted you. You come out of her womb after this. And for a few months, years, she's God for you. Your whole life and entire world is her. Where she's literally training you. Now she's not training you inside herself with her own mind. Now you're on the outside, you're two. And she's now training you to become the good doggy that she wants you to be. Now I said doggy, it may offend people, and I'm not in the mood to be sparking anything in this flow. But she's literally training you to be the good son or daughter that she wants you to be as she imagines. What she doesn't like, she'll teach you not to do. What she likes, she'll teach you to do. And here you are, totally dependent, like an animal, without fangs or claws, or able to fend for himself, or like totally. So you're being trained by her. And everything that you're becoming is what she's training you to be. You can say whatever you want about the father. The father is finished. The father put the purple wool. And if the father doesn't control the mother, now that sounds mean, but if let's say the father and the mother aren't in harmony, that's a better way of saying it, then there's no father. She doesn't care. He's a detail. He's not interfering in the relationship. God for the child is the mother. It is not the father. He doesn't understand that this is a father. He doesn't understand that this is his father. That's not there in the awareness of the child yet. So she's literally molding the child into the image she wants him to be or her to be. As the child starts to grow and starts to quote unquote be independent, it's not independent, the child is responding to the basic coding. Either the child is following the code properly, and if the code works, then the child has success. If it's incompetent, it's achieving a certain kind of incompetence, or it quote unquote rebels against the code. Either way, it's responding to the code. Its life is the basic code it's received, and the child, for the most part, is totally unconscious of that coding. And the child thinks it's its own person. And at any point in time, and everyone knows, anybody who has got a mother, which means everybody who's had a relation with a mother, that mom wants to pull a string, she just says a word. In fact, she doesn't have to say a word. She just moves her eyebrow. She doesn't even need to move an eyebrow. There's just a motion in her, and you can feel something pull at you. Just with her mind, because her mind built your body, she can manipulate and move you. But you don't understand that because you don't know about these things. Or maybe some of you understand what I'm saying because you're sensitive and you're like, why is my mom affecting me so much? A lot of people know exactly what I'm saying in regards to this, but you don't necessarily realize how deep that goes. Just with her mind, she has direct access to you. Remember, she weaved you with her mind. But men don't understand this because for men, that means the mom would have like a blue paper and start to chart with their super ruler, right? And this is this, and vectors of forces, right? This is how a man would go about building a child, like he goes out building a house. Women didn't design the child because to design you need a paper and your fucking ruler and your thing, what do you call this? A compass. Right? No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. No, her mind operates in a totally different way, and her capacity goes way beyond what your little drawing can ever do. You built a little house. Shout out to you in the house. Shout out to your fucking car. I love it. Thank you. She built a human. Okay? So we're talking about a whole other level of ingenuity that you don't know about and that you pretend doesn't exist. So we're not going to go back to that flow because we hit it properly the video before. What I'm trying to say is that you are made from her mind, her fantasies, her fetishes, what she loves, what she hates, what she doesn't want, what she wishes, what she aspires to. In the middle, there's the man. That's why I said there's the purple thread. And I'm talking about a general relationship where, nowadays, how connected are men and women? Okay? At a level, but that's it. Because we can talk about at another level where there's another harmony, but I'm just talking about your average birthing process. So you as a child, man or woman, are a doll in her mind. And as you grow up, she still uses you and manipulates you. She says she won't. She'll never admit to that. She's not probably even conscious. But what you don't realize is that you are responding to these basic vectors of forces. And you don't understand. Wait, so you're responding to those vectors of forces which she quote unquote designed. The question is now, where did she get these ideas from? Which come from her mother and her mother and her mother. And those desires and those aspirations and all of this are controlled and influenced by all kinds of forces. I'm not addressing this right now because it gets complex. But I think you understand. So you are now the byproduct of her mind, which is connected to her mother's mind, which is connected to the grandmother's mind, and so on and so forth. God knows how far it goes and what has influenced this and the deities they worshipped. And let's not get into that, okay? And now you think you're the man. Because you are on a bicycle and you can pedal. Because you can fight and kill another man. Because you can go to war. Because you can build rocket ships. So this is a complex subject. It's very profound. But what I'm trying to say is that, so as a child born of a mother, you're already built from that underworld energy, that occult mind. For the most part, you don't know that it exists. You deny its existence. So you don't understand by which code what you're responding to. You don't understand your relationship to the mother, what it means to have purple thread, meaning the effect of the father. None of that you know, and you think you go about your business as an independent person. And that your accomplishments are done by your own willpower and the greatness of your mind and intellect. Not understanding that you are the byproduct of her creation and her design, plus the purple thread. And you're technically executing and doing exactly what she asked you to do. Not knowing this, not understanding this, not realizing that. So give me the benefit of the doubt just for the sake of conversation. When the video ends, put away the benefit of the doubt. But let's, for the sake of conversation, say that what I'm saying is in any way, shape, or form true. In fact, psychology understands this. Any person who understands anything knows what I'm saying. This is not extraordinary. It's maybe unusual because people are very uncomfortable talking about the mother. These are the secrets of women. Okay? But for the sake of conversation, let's pretend what I'm saying is true. And this has been going on for how many generations? So you think when you're born, you're your father's son? Or you're... No. Are you kidding me? You're her child. And if we consider that nowadays men and women relationship are just broken, she wants nothing to do. She stole the thread from the man so that she can create a child to fulfill her needs. She's not there to create a child for the man, or in alliance with the man, or any of these words. Nah, I'm just going to take the thread because I need the thread so that I can weave my little doll to do what I want, to fulfill my needs, or to fulfill the needs of my lineage. So what I'm trying to say now is, for the sake of conversation, imagine that this has been going on for a couple of generations, a few, 100, 200, 10,000. Well, who's controlling the world? Through the birthing apparatus, women have all the power. You can be as manly as you want. You can say, I'm going to take this woman and I'm going to impose on her and I'm going to rape her. And I'm going to force her to have my child. Fine. At the surface, she'll say yes. But once you've implanted your seed, it's finished. This is in her world. She will not birth your child. She will birth her child, which is his child, which we've spoken about in other videos. Let's not go there. When I say his, you would need to look at the other videos, right? But let's not go there, but I had to slide it in for the pleasure of doing this. So when you start to understand this, you're like, well, wait a minute, what does that mean? What does that mean about the history of humanity as we think we know or we've been told? And then who's been in charge and who really has the power? Nah, it's impossible. Look at her, she's an idiot. She doesn't climb trees. And when she does, you don't want to fuck her, right? She's look at her, she's weak. She can't draw, she can't make houses. She's an inferior sex. As thinks your average man who today pretends he doesn't think this way because, of course, he believes in equality and really loves women, right? Well, that's what using a little bit of your understanding, a little bit of thought, that's what it opens. So now it may sound a little funny because I just speak casually like this. I'm on my chair. I don't sound very intelligent. I'm just philosophicating with you, if you like. But then when you start to study history, let's say you give that hypothesis a little bit of credence, and then you decide to explore history with that window open, because nobody would think of that. What does modern history tell you? There was a patriarchy, the patriarchy abused women. Right. So what does that say? Women have always been squished and destroyed and whatnot. Okay, and this has been happening for thousands of years and before, who knows? Okay, so let's say you consider this for a second. Well, what does that say about the history of humanity? suddenly it doesn't look the same anymore. And if you start to look for clues to point to that, you may very find some. You may very well find some that are hidden in plain sight. Nah, don't tell me that won't look like a pussy. It's right there in your face. Nah, it's impossible. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's impossible. Maybe you're an idiot. You don't understand. You don't understand symbolism. You don't understand what you're seeing. You couldn't fathom it. That's what I'm trying to say. Women are the mistress of illusion. You couldn't fathom that this creature that is so feeble compared to your greatness as a man is in charge, has been in charge, is still in charge. Because you're so amazing. You can build rockets and go to fucking Mars with fucking Elon. Get the fuck out of here. You couldn't imagine that. It's impossible. We are the greatest sex for sure. We are in charge. I can bang hoes at the club, right? I'm macking hoes with my frame, and then I brought her home in my fucking penthouse suite. I showed her my amazing bed made out of crystal, and I banged her. I'm the man. You're banging on a crystal bed, motherfucker. Anyways, so just to close that parentheses, let's say you consider what I'm saying, just for the sake of conversation, and then you decide to re-examine history with that as a possibility. Well, you'll start to discover that there's a whole stream of knowledge that points to exactly what I'm saying. I didn't invent it, but your average person couldn't fathom this. Nor do they want to. And as you can see, women are guarding their secret. Now, why is another question. We'll address it at another point in time. But women are guarding their secret. It's convenient for them. It's convenient for them to, I don't know how to say this. It's convenient that you think she's dumb. How about that? She likes that. She doesn't have to take any responsibility, does she? In the meantime, you're just a pawn. Nah, come on, man. What do I know? I know. But it's definitely food for thought. Think about it. But in order for you to discover the things I'm saying, maybe what I'm saying is true, maybe it's incorrect. In order for you to understand this, you need to understand some of the basics of life, and this is how the mind works, the realm of the mind, the different stratas of the mind, and in which field the woman operates. And because you've unfortunately, because you're an idiot, have decided to measure a woman's intelligence based on your intelligence, you miss the whole thing. You're comparing yourself to her, you fucking moron. And because when you look at her, you don't understand her, you don't understand what she's doing. It's like when you go to another country and they speak another language. At some point you don't hear it anymore. Nothing registers. Do you see what I mean? No, there's a language that you don't understand. You don't even recognize that there's a language. So when you begin studying yourself and studying your body, and I'm not talking about the vectors of forces that I have studied in school, unfortunately for me, and you start to dive and plunge into the science of the human body, well, then you're now confronted to learn that sacred language, an ancient language that has lost its way somehow through the history, that is accessible to you, and you start to discover that language. And then you start to realize, well, wait a minute, it's funny, it's like she's in tune with that language, despite her efforts. It's so easy for her to be in tune with it, as if the language is synonymous of her being. Or maybe I'm crazy and I don't know what I'm saying. Whatever it is, it's a cool conversation. Thanks you for listening. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you for your attention.